Now continue our focus on Africa Day, and we now take the discussion further in studio with Dr. Charles Sinkala. He, of course, is international political expert. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
And I suppose a happy Africa Day.
Happy Africa Day to you, in inverted commas.
Yeah. So you were telling me off air that there isn't really much to celebrate on this day.
No, tell me, what do we have to celebrate about? You know, Africa Freedom Day or Africa attained high independence starting from the Gold Coast in 1957, and from there other countries followed, you know, having 1994 in South Africa and the last one South Sudan, you know, overturning the power from colonizers or apartheid regime, that Africa unite herself, feed herself, govern herself, educate herself, and treat herself when we are sick. But are we doing that? That's a question which is down the line.
But what's still lacking?
I think, you know, we need to understand in life that there are two types of people. The other type of personality are those who are hell-bent, who are meant only for destruction. And the other side are the ones who are national builders. So if you put these two together, they are the ones who are confusing the things for Africa to develop in one direction. You know, many countries and nations around the world has evolved from nothing to somewhere where their economy is doing very well. You know, you can talk about Japan, you know, where Hiroshima and Nagasaki was bombed, and also Dubai, which has built its city in the desert and on the sea, you know, and Vietnam, where there was wars and all those type of things. But Africa has been, you know, in all different places, you know. Nigeria is pulling on one side, exporting oil to United States of America or in the Arab or Asian region, you know, instead of exporting within Africa, you know, to South Africa. So find that South Africa is buying oil from those other nations at an exorbitant price. So there's no inter-area common denomination of Africa pulling to one direction. You know, we've seen how now in South Africa also, like I said, you know, we must look for another African Day. You know, in 1961 or 1967, the Boer Wars in South Africa, that was an Independence Day for South Africa, but it could not transform the aspirations and, you know, intentions of the people. Hence, another one was founded in 1994, where a Rainbow Nation was created.
Yeah, yeah. But what's the problem, Dr. Sinkala? Is the African leaders a problem? Their perhaps unwillingness to work together, could that be a problem?
No. It's actually beyond that leadership. I thought earlier that leadership is a problem. So you cannot have good leadership and bad people, and vice versa. You cannot have a bad leader with good people. It won't work. It has to be completely, everybody has to work towards one common goal in achieving and resolving, you know, building or creating a society where challenges of unemployment, poverty can be addressed. I mean, we've got engineers Africa produces, for instance, medical doctors, experts who advises the governments, who knows the answers to some problems, but they do not do that. Africa produces engineers, doctors to go work in the Silicon Valley or elsewhere. So there's no one common goal of building the nation. And even saying that, look what has happened to the liberation movement, ANC. ANC now it's on its knees, you know. If it was not the now inaugurated President of the Republic of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, to bring the unity drive within the movement, it should have done very worse than it has done. You know, it's got the biggest challenge of trying to save the organization and also to save the nation. Now he has to choose which one comes first. It's a problem. And even saying that, you know, one of the founders, Nelson Mandela, mentioned that ANC will never be destroyed from the outside, to be destroyed by within inside. So now you end up appointing people who are not capable to positions because he has to save the organization. So those types of people in the world who are pulling from the other direction has to be united. But those are not the problems of Africa. The problems of Africa is education. You know, if people are educated, are given the tools and techniques how to learn and educate themselves, and how to understand that Africa has to rise up, you know, build and work together with everybody Africa will be a better place.
All right.
And
So
I think now, and finally, in concluding what my point I was talking about, you know, Africa, we must actually look at another Africa Freedom Day, which we can celebrate and make sure that we have resolved and ironed out our differences.
yeah, but I suppose that will take quite a while before all those issues are resolved.
No, not really.
Yeah.
You know, even if there is those problems, there's always hope as well.
There's
that
always hope.
there's angels on earth as it is in heaven as well. There's devils here. So there are also people trying to build. You know, South Africa is trying to hold the African continent. You know, it's the only economy which is doing very well or better apart from Rwanda. The rest of them, they are doing very badly. You know, that's why we have now the migration problem coming into South Africa. And South Africa's public expenditure has been depleted. Every year it is depleted because it has to cater for other people. You know, recently South Africa, through the International Relations Minister, Lindiwe Sisulu, they appealed to United Nations that we've got a lot of migrants in our country. Can you assist? You understand? But we need to have people who are educated, who can translate their education into practice. To use the migration problem in South Africa to turn them into skills. You know, South Africa has been battling with skilled people, even in hospitals or doctors. But we've got these immigrants who are coming from elsewhere. For instance, a medical doctor in Zimbabwe is paid $100 a month, you know, and he can't survive. This is about 1,300 rand, 1,400 rand. So if those can come here and use the skills and legalize them, you know, give them permits or work permits and use those resources to build, you know, South Africa, and I think Africa will start working to a good direction.
But do you think there is hope now with the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa? I mean, he's been on many occasions talking about a capable cabinet that he wants to appoint. We are yet to see that happen, of course, on Monday. But do you think there is hope now with the newly inaugurated president?
Yes. I'm very optimistic that he's going to do very well. He's going to put his foot down because ANC has been exposed, you know. A lot of people, they love the ANC, they love the movement. That's an organization which liberated them. Already they have lost 10%, which has gone to the EFF, who were part of ANC. So, you know, you cannot be beaten twice. So he will try by all means, despite he has to choose between the ANC and the country, he will try by all means to start working into a direction of building and reuniting everybody.
All right. I know I have to wrap, but what's the role of the African Union in all of this?
African Union, United Nations are toothless bulldogs. I do not regard them to be solving problems, and I think partly they contribute to the problems we have in Democratic Republic of Congo, Central African Republic, also Venezuela. You know, they're supposed to sit and table out what is the problem, can we find a solution. The reason also they can't perform is because 98% of their budget is funded by those who influences conflicts into those countries. So you can't go to your enemy to help you to manage your problems.
It's conflict of interest.
It's conflict of interest. So until African Union can realize its foundation when it was formed in Addis Ababa to resolve Africans' problems, we're still going to have problems in Africa.
All right, Dr. Sinkala, there is so much to get through, but time constraints, we'll leave this at that. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you very much, Alicia.
All right, many thanks there to Dr. Charles Sinkala. He's international political expert, helping us really to understand the importance of Africa Day. Tabiso?